It's commonly believed here in Japan, as well as elsewhere in the world, that selfishness is a vice. It's a bad thing. Whereas you indicated that much good comes only from individual effort and individualism. Will you talk about that? Ayn Rand's philosophy is egoism, right? Be selfish.
So Ayn Rand's view is that you have, one shot at this life. You're here on this planet one time. Make the most of it. Live a great life. Live the best life that you can live. Mm-hmm. There's this cliche in English, be the best that you can be. Right? That's what Ayn Rand's ethics is about. It's about being the best human being, living the best life that you can, flourishing.
Yeah. I think we can share that with most people.
See, but
why do you have to call it egoism or be selfish?
Because most people don't think that. You see, they don't share that.
They don't share that.
No, most people think that there's a huge anti-happiness, anti-flourishing view out there. That you're supposed to live for the group, or you're supposed to live for other people. That your life is not important. And what Ayn Rand says is, why? She asks a simple question, why? Why should I live for other people? Why is other people's lives more important than my life? Mm-hmm. And there is no answer, other than some mystical being saying so in a book somewhere, or some philosopher king, Plato, saying so somewhere. But if my life is mine, then it's important to think and figure out what it will take to make my life the best life that it can be. See, we're not born with the instinct or the automatic knowledge of how to live a good life. We're not like the animals out there in the animal kingdom that know, you hunt, you do this, everything's programmed into their, biology, and they know exactly what they need to do. Human beings, every basic thing that we need in life, from the food to clothing to our iPhones, we have to figure out. And it's the same with how to live, how to flourish, how to be successful, how to be happy. We have to figure out how to achieve that. And this is why Ayn Rand called her ethics, her morality, rational self-interest. To emphasize the rational, to emphasize the fact that to live a good life, you have to figure out, you have to think, you have to engage your reason to find the values that will actually make your life better. And that kind of focus doesn't exist, not in Japanese thought, not in Western thought. Most ethics, most philosophy tells you how to sacrifice, but they don't teach you how to live. Ayn Rand teaches you how to live.
So when you say selfishness, it's not just giving in to your natural instinct, but be conscious of a rational self-interest.
Yes, so it's not doing whatever you feel like doing. Because often what you feel like doing is not good for you, right? I feel like taking a nap right now, but this is much more fun if I'm willing to exert the effort. You might feel like snorting the cocaine. We don't have any cocaine here on the table, just to make sure in the video. But it might be, because you'll get a high.
Yeah.
But it's not actually good for you.
You might be tempted to eat chocolate.
You might be tempted to eat chocolate. But or think about a lot of like the fraud that happens out there, a lot of the corporate fraud.
Right.
People are tempted because there's a pile of money there just to take it. Mm-hmm. But if they thought about it for 2 seconds, they realize they're going to get caught, they're going to go to jail, it's going to be bad for them. So doing what's good requires thinking. It's not hard. It just requires stopping and thinking, not being driven by your instincts or your emotions or your just automatic responses, but actually engaging your mind. And when you do that, you consider the long term, you consider the scope of your life, you consider the facts, and now you can actually plan your life in a way that maximizes your happiness, again, your flourishing, your life as a human being, which is more than just the money or the thrill or any particular instant, but the totality of what you are as a human.
So to be truly selfish or ethically egoistic, you need a conscious effort and a tremendous amount of intelligence on your part.
doesn't require a high level of intelligence. This is not about IQ.
It's not about IQ.
It's about engaging your mind at whatever level you have, right? It's about thinking at whatever level you can think. But all human beings, all healthy human beings, observe reality as it is, have the faculty of reason, can integrate at whatever level they can integrate, and they can make their lives the best life for them possible by thinking it through. Whereas if they rely on emotion or they rely on other people to do the thinking for them, they are likely to stumble, to fall, and not to maximize their potential.
So is it possible and desirable for a 12-year-old to become a rational self-interest?
So at age 12, I think you're starting to learn how to be rational. But one of the things about children is that it's a process. And partially it's a biological process. Your brain is not fully developed until about 21.
Yeah, we often think of little children, small children, that's naturally selfish.
Yes, but that's because people use the word selfishness wrong.
Okay.
See, we associate, in our modern society, we associate the term selfish with emotion. Do whatever you feel like doing. So when we see a little kid and they want the candy, they just grab the candy. Whether it's good for them or bad for them is irrelevant. They want it, therefore they have it. What Rand teaches us is that's not selfish. Because what's selfish is what is truly, objectively, based on the facts of reality, good for you. So it requires a process of rational thought to figure that out. And since a 3-year-old can't do rational thought, it's not that he won't, he just can't. What he's doing is not selfish, it's not unselfish, it's just a 3-year-old being a 3-year-old. As you age, one of the jobs of parents is to teach children to think long term, to engage their mind, to become rational. And a responsible parent is one who teaches their child so that by the time they're 18 or 16 or 21, depending on the child, they can do that. They can think long term. They're not just going to grab the candy. They're not going to be, jumping on whatever the latest thing. They're not going to do what all their friends do. They're going to be independent. They're going to think for themselves. They're going to be selfish in Ayn Rand's sense of being rationally long-term self-interest, pursuing long-term values that actually make their life better.
Okay, so serving other people, helping other people, that's a good thing if you're doing it for your self-interest.
Yes, if you're doing it for your self-interest, but that requires you to know what your self-interest is.
Right.
And to think about it. Again, in the culture we live in, the expectation is you always help somebody.
That's right.
And that's a virtue, and that's good by its nature. And what Ayn Rand is saying, absolutely help other people. Other people can be of value to you. But some people are not of value to you. So don't help them. So you have to evaluate, you have to judge.
Yeah.
You shouldn't respond automatically.
So what if I want to practice philanthropy
So
in society? Yeah.
She's not against philanthropy.
Okay.
But again, most philanthropy as practiced today is practiced out of a sense of guilt, out of a sense of moral duty. I need to do this to buy myself into heaven, right? Whether heaven is in another world or in this world doesn't matter. But I need this in order to prove to myself and to the community that I am a moral person. And what Rand is saying that no, philanthropy is not the essence of morality. Indeed, philanthropy is not what makes you a good person. Right? Philanthropy is something you can do. It's a choice. It's not a duty. And if you do it, make sure to do it in support of your values, in support of the things that you believe in the things that will make your life better. So should never be a clash between your self-interest and your charity. Your charity should be consistent with your self-interest. Otherwise, don't do it. Never sacrifice.
I have a lot of friends who work in non-profit, non-government organizations and who are serious about social change to make the world a better place to live.
Yes.
That's a good thing.
I'm serious about making the world a better place to live. For me and my kids and the people I love and the people I care about. That's the focus. So wanting to make the world a better place to live is a very, very self-interested motivation. It's long-term. It's rational. We all live in this world. Other human beings are an incredible value to me. I trade with them. Those human beings out there that are productive and making stuff that I benefit enormously from, whether they paint beautiful paintings or they write beautiful music or they just are involved in making the next version of the iPhone. Whatever it is, I'm benefiting from it, and I'm going to trade with them. I love human beings. Everything that I own was produced by a human being, was created by a human being, was invented by a human being. Human beings are wonderful, right? So Ayn Rand's philosophy is a very benevolent philosophy with regard to other human beings and with regard to human relationships, because of what a human being is capable of creating, of producing, and the knowledge of that. So this is a very benevolent, very pro helping other people under the assumption that they're good people and that ultimately you're going to benefit from that.
Yeah, we live in a benevolent world.
Yes. Yes. And if you get duty and obligation and action motivated by guilt out of it, then the charity and the help actually become more meaningful and actually become more productive.